Nice to be here, and it's a privilege. I was very happy when I got the invite. I think like the last speaker said, at this time in your life is when you have the opportunity to shape and to determine, where your life is going. I have a 15-year-old son, and I have a 14-year-old daughter. They're about 30 months apart. And interestingly, when we gave birth to my son, it was Auntie Wale's mom that was taking care of him. So a round of applause for her also. And so with my son, he's at that age where I engage him, he wants to go out, maybe he wants to drive my car, he wants to travel, so he keeps talking, and my wife and I, we said, you know what, you will have all the time in this world to do all of these things. And he doesn't believe it. I said, it's true, you will have all the time. And that I remember one time in my life, everything I wanted in life was to just be able to get a job. That's what I wanted in life when I was probably your age. I just wanted to, let me just get a job. And you know how that job came? So when I finished university, I studied banking and finance here at the University of Lagos. And then I was serving, I went to Kano for about 2 weeks, but I didn't want to stay in Kano, so I came back to Lagos. And then one of my friends just called me that, so they used to call me Gucci, and they still call me that. Hey, Gucci, he was serving in Fidelity Bank, and he now said, there's somebody else in one other bank, they're looking for a youth corper. Are you available? I said, of course. So I went there that day, I did the test. And when I did the test, they said, oh, you are the first person that has got all the answers correctly. So I got all the answers correctly, and I met with the executive director. And when she met with me, interviewed me a bit, and she just said, can you start tomorrow? And that's just how I started. So when I started the bank, like I said, all I wanted was, let me just be earning money. When I joined the bank, all I wanted was, let me just be in this particular department. So your life is really governed by the thoughts you have, the vision you have, and how you see yourself. So I'm talking today about investments, financial investment literacy. But I want to say that the greatest investment that anyone can have is investment in yourself. Because I've seen people who have lots of money. As you can imagine, in my time in the bank, I work with a number of clients. You see people that have lots of money, but tomorrow the money is not there. Or you know people that, they've got plenty of money. And for instance, Moshood Abiola University. There's no university like that, but in the University of Lagos, at one point, I think President Goodluck, he renamed it. And people were rioting because they felt, where is Moshood Abiola University? We don't connect with him. But this man was one of the richest men in Nigeria. So what I want to actually talk today is not really about the investments, the stocks, the bonds, those are good. But the greatest investment is the investment in yourself. Because if you lose the money, you can make it back, right? And it's really about you becoming a person of value. The greatest investment you can invest is investing in yourself. And like Auntie Wale said, I'm always reading because I'm always reading. I'm always trying to increase my knowledge. And that is what you need to do, because that knowledge that I have, and I'm not boasting, but somebody will call me to say they want me to speak somewhere. They'll pay for my ticket, pay for my flight, pay me $1,000 just because, and I just speak for 2 hours. It's because of the knowledge and investment that I have. And you can command that also. It's about your knowledge investment, about what you use your time for. How do you invest your time? How do you invest your resources? And like I said, the greatest investment is investment in yourself. Because if you have money, you can actually give a financial advisor to invest for you. But it is you becoming the person of value. So that is what I want to discuss today. And I don't know if the slides are up. I have a couple of slides. I'll take you through them, and then we can have a Q&A later. Can you please put the presentation up? Is it on the screen? Okay. So I titled this, Becoming the Best You Possible. And I'm saying that your career, your future is in your hands. It's not in the hands of anyone. Right from when I had a consciousness, I told myself I'll stop complaining about Nigeria. People complain all the time, complain. Complaining can only take you far. right? Like I said, I was a special advisor to the Minister of Trade and Investment, and by the grace of God. But I don't know him before. I've never known him from anywhere. But he had a meeting with me one day. We had an engagement, because God will bring you into positions where you have engagement, where you have encounters, where you have opportunity to speak to people. But after I spoke to him for 1 hour or so, he said, when can you start? Because I spoke to him, I spoke about, this is what I think we should do in Nigeria. These are the challenges that I think we should do. So already you have to think about a problem-solving mindset. Don't always complain. Even when I have staff, I tell them, don't bring a problem to me. When you come to me, come with a solution. Don't always complain. You know why? Because one day you'll be in my position. Right from when I started working, I told you one day in my life, all I wanted to be in a job. I worked in Standard Chartered Bank. And when I started working there, I had one dream. I want to be the MD of this company. And I started thinking, what keeps the MD awake? What are the problems the MD deals with? How can I resolve that problem? Because one day I will get there. So it's what you see and how you see yourself that you now become. So I said your career is in your hands. And I'll start with this. The prices of goods are going up. And if you want to buy Chivita, orange juice, I think it's about 2,000 naira. But if you see the oranges that I used to buy, the orange juice, I don't know how much this is. I don't know. Does anybody know how much maybe 5 oranges are? 1,000. 1,000. Prices are going up. So, but if you look at the orange, look at the orange juice. In the next slide, you look at the I can change it. So you look at a pod of cocoa and you look at a tin of Milo. I don't know how much a pod of cocoa is, but when you look at the tin of Milo, the prices are different. And some of you will already begin to understand where I'm coming from. If you look at, on the left, they call it black gold, crude oil. Crude oil on itself does not make any sense. I mean, you look at it, so in those days when crude oil was first developed, people said, what is this? What are we going to use this for? But from that crude oil, you get petrol that you can power cars, you can power planes, or you can power generators. So some of you that maybe have studied chemistry or want to study chemistry, when you look at crude oil, what is it that makes crude oil? Or what does crude oil make? And crude oil makes so many things. So from crude oil, we can get gasoline, we can get fuel, kerosene for, like I said, aeroplanes. You can get asphalt for road. So from that one single crude oil, you can get so many things. But crude oil is useless if it is not refined. And in the same way, you are useless to the society, to yourself, to your family, if you are not refined. So how is crude oil refined? The process of crude oil moving into these many things. Like I said, crude oil is one aspect, but there's so many things that come from crude oil and the different oils that come out of it. And to refine, you can look at that as packaging. How do you refine yourself into a person of value? Because it's not really about how much you have, but you yourself becoming a person of value. A person of value cannot be, you can't run away from a person of value. You can't swat away a person of value. You always bring the person of value to the room. It doesn't matter whether they like you. It doesn't matter what state you come from. It doesn't matter, whether they like your background or not. But once you're a person of value and you can solve problems, people will always look for you. So you've got to refine yourself as young people. At this stage of your life, you refine yourself. And some people will call it, maybe you are packaging yourself. But you've got to refine yourself. And when I talk about refining yourself, some people can call it packaging. If you see this, this is an aerial view of assorted whisked cassava, granules, and twisted grounded yam souffle with a slide of hot and spicy vegetable and squashed melon soup. And they call this 15,000 naira. But this is just about, about egusi or paradiyam and egusi. But it's the way they package this. And when you are packaged right, you will command value. So it's all about asking yourself, what value am I? So like I said, in that cocoa pod or Milo, or the orange juice you see by the roadside, or the orange juice, if you want to buy 5 oranges versus buying the orange juice, the cost difference is so much. And you ask yourself, why? But someone has taken time to refine that orange juice. Someone has taken time to refine that cocoa pod. Someone has taken time to refine the crude oil. And now in Nigeria, we are shouting about petrol prices. Every time there's always petrol scarcity, we're always striking, going on strike, because some people have taken time to refine the crude that we have, refine it and bring it back to us. And we are looking for that petroleum product. So take time to refine yourself, and people will look for you. It's principle of life. So refine yourself. Everybody comes to this world with the same crude, but then you refine yourself. So look at this also, just in terms of, on the one side, you say, okay, I'm an accountant, I want to do a financial statement. You can put it on the left side and just put numbers. But somebody has put it in the same way and put colors, put graphs. So the essence is really about refining yourself and asking, how can I refine myself and become a person of value? Because it's the person of value that people will pay money for. And with that money is you are making the greatest investment in yourself. So this is the best time in your life to begin to make your investments. So refining yourself, the first thing is your dressing. Like they say, you dress how you want to be addressed. And there's a popular scripture in the Bible which talks about when Samuel wanted to anoint David, king in Jesse's house. And most of you know the story. And when he went there, he saw Eliab, he saw all of them, and he said, this must be the king. This must be the king. And God said, no, that's not the king. The king called David. And he says, men look on the outside, but I look on the heart. And that's a very profound statement. And we always talk about God looks at the heart. But what did he say? Well, men look on the outside. Men will always continue to look on the outside. So the outside is the first thing you see. Before you open your mouth, people want to see you. It might just be one shirt you have. But that one shirt, wash it, iron it, because that's what they see. And when they see, they will call you. Nobody wants to be associated with someone dress is not clean, doesn't dress well, doesn't look good. Everybody wants to be associated with goodness, beauty. So yes, we can say God looks on the heart, so I will focus on the heart. That's very good. But you're not dealing with God all the time. You're dealing with human beings. It's human beings that will employ you, right? It's human beings you work with. So don't take it for granted. It's how you, and it doesn't have to be expensive, but just make sure you're dressing decently, right? Very important. Second thing is your speech. How do you talk? How do you engage? But when I was young, I used to watch a lot of TV. I used to watch CNN news because I like the way they talk. And you know what I was saying about your vision? The way you see and the things that you see. I used to watch people, business analysis on news. Guess what? Now people are watching me. I'm just saying that to say there is a process and there's a time of refining. There's a time of putting in the work. There's a time of engaging. So how do you talk? How do you speak? How do you engage? Right? Because first thing, people see you. Oh, this person dresses well. This person looks nice. Okay. The second thing is people want to hear you. And there's a saying that says, people always think you are smart until you open your mouth. So when you open your mouth, what comes out of it? You want to be able to speak something. You want, even if it's 2 words you say, words are few, the Bible says. But those few words, you're able to say something that people say, wow, that thing stuck in my head. Right? And where does that speaking come from? It comes from also, you are reading wide. I am always with a newspaper. I'm always with a book. I'm always trying to engage what is happening. And like I said, grace of God, I was able to meet the minister about 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. And we spoke for a bit. What were we speaking about? He was asking me about the Nigerian economy, asking me about the US economy, asking me about what I think. I didn't read for it, but it's something that I'd always been reading about. So I'm always current. You want to be in a particular sector. You want to be in a particular industry. What is it about the oil and gas industry? Oh, you want to work in a bank. What is the interest rate today? What is the monetary policy rates? What is the cost of funds? You don't know. And you want to work in the bank. Let me tell you, people want to solve problems. So sometimes people can say, oh, they are not employing me. I need to know somebody. Yes, that happens in Nigeria. But if you sit down with an MD of a bank, MD of an oil company, or the general manager, and he sees that you can solve his problem, he will hire you. He will hire you. When you sit down with him and he's able to say, oh, this person knows what's happening, and you say, oh, local content, this is how much is local content, this is how much barrels of oil Nigeria. So now the way the world is, you don't necessarily need to have a degree to be able to understand an industry. And that's the truth. Right? You can actually know more than the people that have degrees. So you need to read wide. What do you use your time for? Engage. The journals in that industry now with the internet is so wide, far and wide. What do you use your time for? You need to begin to read wide about the industry or the place that you want to play in. And the next thing is, the world is a global, think global, right? Like I said, I used to watch the TV. I'm always watching what's the US interest rate. How does that affect Nigeria? What is the Bank of England? What are they saying? I used to read those things religiously because I'm in that finance sector. What's happening in Japan? What's happening in South Africa? And you have access to that information. So these are things that will make you a person of value. Sorry, I'd spoken about dressing before. And I spoke about certification and exams. Like she says, I'm FCIB, FCS, MIOD. There's a time in my life, at the age of some of you, the only thing I was doing, I didn't have Saturdays. That time seems distant now. When I finished university, I told myself, I studied banking and finance, and banking is one, finance is one way. I said, what's the highest certification in banking in Nigeria? What's the highest certification of finance in Nigeria? I'll do it. So immediately I finished school on Saturdays. It was expensive, but I got money from my auntie, got money from my sister, got money from my mom. I want to do this exam. I'm not getting money to buy clothes or shoes, or I want to do this exam. Pay for me. I was hounding my dad, hounding my sister to do this exam. It was quite expensive. I paid for the exam there every Saturday. So on Saturday and Sunday, I wasn't going to church. After I'll go lectures, reading. I became a chartered banker. Before most of my colleagues were in university, after university, I think 2 years. But even in university, some people in university, whilst they were in university, they were doing their ICANN. I had a friend when he graduated with the same ICANN. Merely, he got a job with Stanbic IBTC Bank at that time. I wish I knew it at that time. But when I realized it, I started to catch up. So what are you using your time for? This is the industry you want to do. Certifications. Immediately after I finished that, before I got married, I started my Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers. I started reading that. But now, internationally, you can now say, I want to do global exams. It doesn't matter how much it is. Pay that money. That investment you are making in yourself, your certification, that is what's going to happen tomorrow. Because I remember one lecturer telling me that it's better to have a degree you don't need than to need a degree you don't have. Because at some point, when you get to my age or get to ages of some of the people here, when you have children, you don't even have the time, you are working. But now you have the time. Focus on certification, examining. It doesn't matter how much it is. Once it is in line with the area you want to do it. People might not see you for a while. Oh, they're looking for you. There's this party, there's this something. They don't have to see you now. When it's time to see you, they will see you. Volunteer. Oh, they're having something in church. They're looking for people to usher. They're looking for people to organize events. Because that is where you're able to learn. It's an area where you are able to do a number of things. And church gives us a good opportunity to volunteer. When they say, oh, we are part of this committee, you are part of this. That's where I also learned how to even lead people. Because when they say you are part of this committee, they will say, oh, you head this committee. You might not be able to be a leader in your office or leader in secular life, but you are leading people. You are learning how to engage. You are learning how to write minutes. You are learning how to projects. You are learning how to coordinate. You are learning. So those things are very, very helpful. And you see that those skills are fungible. You can use them in the corporate world also. One of the key things that even in the corporate world I tell my team is, how do you manage people? How do you engage? How do you build consensus? How those skills, soft skills, and you learn them from the place of volunteering, from the place of engaging. So every opportunity you have to volunteer, make sure you take it. Make sure you grab it. Don't say, well, how much are they paying? No. You can even pay them to volunteer, because that, even you can even put it on your CV in terms of what you've done. There's so many things you've done. Even for today, some of the people that are doing IT, technical skills. In fact, I've seen stories of many people who, based on what they were doing in church, that's what they got jobs in. So very, very important at this stage of your life, you need to volunteer. Need to be disciplined and need to be focused. Very, very important. Just in forms of you as a person being this. So if you're talking of even money, just ensuring that you are saving regularly. Any money you get, you are keeping some aside. Discipline with your finances, discipline with your time, and just focused. Set your face like a flint. At the time I was saying it, when I had those exams, immediately I finished school, I just had that sense in my heart that I give myself 3-4 years, I want to finish these exams. I kept doing it. I was talking to some of my younger colleagues. I said, okay, you finish university now. What are you doing? I'm not sure. I said, register, I'll pay for you. Register for these exams. This is the time you have. When you are young, you have the time, you have the energy. Do it. You need to be disciplined. You need to be focused. That's very, very important. So don't look to the left, don't look to the right. Right? Just keep on going. You fall down, you get up. You fall down, you get up. But that discipline is very important. Discipline with your finances, like I said. Discipline with your time. Discipline with your resources. So you need to be disciplined. And all of these come with a process of refining. Like I said, how does crude oil become those many things that people are now rushing for? So you become a person of value. Right? Even now, when you look, even in the political space, or some people who are in those spaces, they might not have as much discipline as we would like. That's their own business. But for you as an individual, tell yourself, I'll be a person of value. Right? I always used to tell myself, I'm a citizen of heaven first before I'm a citizen of Nigeria. Some people say that's how they do it in Nigeria. That's fine. But this is how I want to do my own thing. Sometimes people come late, people don't prepare, and they say, oh, that's how they do it in Nigeria. No, you are not a Nigerian. You are a citizen of heaven. So you as a citizen of heaven, you need to ensure that you have that excellence with you in everything you do. Anything you send out, whether it's a presentation, let that excellence be there. You become a person of value. And after a while, people will pay for what you have. Another thing is networking. Just engaging with people. Building your social skills. Building your people capital. People capital is very important. Like I said in the story, I said, so 2 things. When I got the job in Standard Chartered Bank, like you read in my profile, I got to a place where I worked there for 15 years. And by the time I was leaving, I was managing a portfolio of about $7 billion. But how did I get that job? It was my friend in university. They just called me, hey, how far? Someone is looking for a job. At that time, I didn't know anything about the bank. I didn't even know the bank existed in Nigeria. They were just 1 year. They were a British bank, just 1 year. And God used that relationship to get me the job. How did I get the job working with the minister? I had a colleague who was working with me in Standard Chartered Bank at the time, and he had some problems with his relationship. Oh, Gucci, there's this girl I like. I said, okay, how is she? So we just started becoming friends. Oh, okay, what's her name? Okay, let's go and see her. One day he just came to meet me. Would you like to work with the minister? I said, I don't mind. He said, okay, bring your CV. Send the CV. Okay, you can meet the minister at this hotel, and that's it. It's your relationship. I used to tell my wife sometimes, I don't have any mentors. Jesus Christ is my mentor. The Holy Spirit is my mentor. We can be so narrow, but you need human beings. Like I said, you live in this world. So who are those relationships that you are building? And you are not getting into a relationship just to leech on people. But what can I do for this person? What value can I add to this person? Am I a person that people want to be with? The Bible talks about he that is friendly must show himself friendly. So it's not as if you have 10,000 friends, but you have people you engage. And anytime you go to someone like this event, some of the people that are sitting by your side, they are the people that will introduce you to somebody, right? Daniel, he was the king's wife or so that said there's someone in your kingdom during your father's time. Same thing with David. David was someone, they said, oh, Saul, there's someone that plays well. So someone has to introduce you to someone. So you have to have good relationships. You have to have engaged. And how do you network? Whether it's in your school, whether it's in your church, have to be a person. Don't just say, I'm staying by myself. Yes, there's a place of staying by yourself, reading and engaging, but it's people that will lead you to somebody else. Another thing is your online presence. when I'm having an interview for someone wants to interview for a job, of course, you send your CV. I'll check your Facebook. I'll check your Instagram. Let me see what you are posting. Let me see what you are reposting. Let me see what you are. And that's true, even job interviews today. So how is your online presence? What are you using your online presence for? Build your online presence, right? Nearly every week I send out messages on an article trying to show that I'm a thought leader in this particular area. So the world is a small place. Yes, you can get on TikTok, create videos, but what are you sending out? What are information? So you need to show that you're a person of value. If you have an expertise in a particular area, you need to begin to show that out, because that's how people will engage you. So because of some of the things I've been throwing out, someone will send me a message sometime. Oh, great. I need you to come to South Africa next week. I need you to come to Rwanda. And it's not a joke. I'm going to Rwanda in about 2 months' time. Online, someone just sent me a message. You need to come and speak about something. So what are you posting online? What presence do you have online? And how can people see that you're a person of value? So you need to realize that you as an individual, you are in a raw state, especially, at your age. And you need to see how you can refine yourself, because that's the greatest investment you can do, investing in yourself. I think it was Benjamin Franklin, one of the presidents of America, that says investment in education pays the best interest. So you are refining yourself, you are engaging yourself, because that is how money comes to you. That's how value comes to you. You refine yourself, you package yourself, just like I was showing about the Eba and Egusi, but someone, packaged it, and people are paying heavy money for that. So people will pay heavy money for you. You will get so much money if you're able to refine yourself, if you're able to ensure that as an individual, you are a subject matter expert in a particular area. So for me, that's what I would say in terms of becoming a person of value. That's the greatest investment that you can make, and that's the greatest investment. If it comes to in terms of investment in money, you can actually get someone to manage that for you. But I'll just speak a bit about that, just about your financial literacy and what you should know, at this stage. First thing is to realize that money grows. Money is something that grows. And if you look at the stock exchange, so you need to be someone that understands money. Don't say, oh, it's just for people in the finance. No, everybody needs to be financially literate. And financially literate, it means that you understand the different type of accounts, savings accounts, current accounts, different kind of banks, and different kinds of investment products. So investment products, 2 key investment products, whether it's the money market or the capital market. So the money market is really short term, so like 90 days to 1 year. And that's where you invest in treasury bills. And treasury bills is the investment of the government. So when you say treasury is the government, so right now treasury bills are giving about 20%. If you invest in treasury bills, it's the safest form of investment. You'll get your money back plus 20% in Nigeria right now. But the interest rate is determined by what happens in the market. So it's very important, like I said, for you to get to a place where you are reading. And I remember, I think it was my year 2 or year 3. There was one guy that was a first class individual. And when he's in class, he will just be talking. I'll just be looking at this guy. How does this guy know this something? This guy just seems so smart. We used to call him a geek. So one day I went to meet him. I said, how do you know this thing? All of us are struggling. He said, during break, he reads ahead. I said, So that's what happened. So I started to also read ahead, and I started to also read. And I realized that the discipline that I formed at that time was in my year 3 when I told myself, I'm going to be studying. That's the discipline that carries me even till now. Because reading is something that you build, you learn how to do. When you catch it, it doesn't leave you. So when I'm talking about interest rates, because early this morning I'm still checking interest rates. It's something I'm always looking for information. Because when you're in financial markets, information is very important. You want to know what's the share price of this stock. So I talk about the money market. The other part is the capital market, which is shares and stocks. So different people have their companies. So someone starts a company and someone says, I want to give a share of it to somebody else. And I want other people to participate in it. That's the capital market. So you buy a share. So now you can see in the papers, some of the banks are doing shares, GTB, FCMB. So you need to ask yourself, why are they selling shares? how can I benefit from this? So just to understand, and you don't have to buy now. So in my own view, like I said, my philosophy is about becoming a person of value. If you don't buy the shares today, doesn't mean you won't buy tomorrow. But how are you becoming a person of value so that you can have, I don't always rush and say, oh, you must buy today. If you don't buy today, that's the end. No. It will always come. People that want to sell, they'll always use gimmicks to you and say, oh, buy now. Yes, and there's a place for that. But it's more understanding what it's about. So if you want to be part of a company, you invest in their shares. And you can do that through stockbrokers, invest in the capital market. But then you're not investing in the share, you're investing in the company. So if you go around, and this is one of the greatest investment experts that live, Warren Buffett. So what he says is invest in companies that he knows or he sees their products. So if someone is asking you to come and invest in their company, you want to go around, do I see their branches? I enter their bank. How is their staff? How are they making money? So you're only investing in something that you are sure that the money is going to come out. Thank you. Sorry, I'm growing old. I need to use my glasses. So you only invest in something that you know that the money will is working for you. And it can only work for you if they are making profit. So even till now, today, when I enter a bank, I don't know how many of you use, if I enter a bank, I check each bank, the central bank says you must paste your financials on the bank. So I always check how much are they making, what's their cost, because that enables you to see, is this bank safe? Should I be investing in this bank? So really it's about financial knowledge. How do you understand financial statements? Very important. Because if someone is telling you to come and buy their shares, or if someone is telling you to come and invest in their company, you need to understand what's their revenue. It's not just for people in accounting. Because even if you are doing a business, revenue is how much you generate from your business. What's your cost, right? What is the profit? So, and profit is revenue minus cost. Are they being profitable? What's their peer doing? So you're looking at them versus their peers. So these are things that you need to look at, like I said, key money market, capital market. But for things like financial literacy, I like to engage. So I want to get questions from you. So I'll pause at this time. My presentation is finished, so thank you for this. Thank you, but I want to get specific questions. So don't be afraid. Be bold. There's no stupid question. Ask what's on your mind. It might be what you ask that somebody else. Remember, it was Nicodemus that asked, how can you be born again? And that was how all of us know what it is, because that's when Jesus answered him. So don't think that your question is stupid. So I want questions to come from the audience.
Hello, everyone. So we don't take time. Please, you can write down your questions. Then, if you're ready, are you ready? Okay. Sir, you want to ask? Okay, number 1. Who else? Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Excuse me. Number 5. Who again? Number 6. Number 7. Madam, you're number 7, no? Number 8. Okay. Number 9. Okay. So, thank you very much. We'll start with number 1. For the rest of you, just in case, please write down your questions. Number 1, please come. Where are you? Okay. Please, we speak with kindness here. We speak with kindness. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, the presenter. I would love to thank you for the presentation. It was enlightened, and I am blessed. I just want to know, you talked about the capital market, the share, and all of that. Right now, I'm aware that GT Bank, Fidelity, Access, and all of those are selling their shares. So I would like to know, what are the indices, as it were, to look out for to say, okay, I think this investment should be okay for me, or I should delay it, or I should put this X amount of money? I think that should be my question.
Thank you. Number two.
I'll take three in a three box of three.
Yeah. Who is number two?
It's similar.
Okay. Number three. Number three.
Thank you for the presentation. Does the share price has any relevance with how the company is doing well or bad?
Thank you. Number four. Number four. Number five. What's your number?
As a student, how do you balance your academic life and your like your business ideas? Like as a student now, most of us have business ideas. How do you, because some of us find it hard to balance the your business ideas, like your business and academics together. Some of them find it like both of them distracting. How do you balance it together?
Thank you. Number six.
Hello, hi. Sorry, I wanted to ask that how do you know financial risks and how can you reduce them?
Number
So can you
seven.
take it again? How do you
know of the financial risks and how do you decrease them? Prevent or decrease? Okay, sir, please go ahead. We'll take the remaining questions when you're done.
Okay, thank you. The first one about what do you look out for in the public offers. So I think it's a whole number of things. And when you see, they will say, contact your financial advisor, right? But one of the things you want to look out for is past performance. But even though they will give you a caveat and say past performance is not the best indicator for future performance, but you always look at past performance. So they will tell you, over the last 5 years, what has the share price done? So if the share price, we're in 2024 now, in 2019, share price was 5 naira and it's now 10 naira. You can see that it has grown by 100%. So that's one of the first indicators. You want to see past performance, right? But with the share price, there are two key things. Number one is the technical analysis. Number two is the financial analysis. Technical analysis has to do with the information on the stock exchange. So you want to have information on past performance, so the share price. You also want to have information on past dividends. Dividends is what they pay to the owners of the company. So are they paying, if they are paying, meaning that their cash flow is strong, have they paid dividends for the last 5 years? So those two informations are very key. Their share price, their dividend history for the technical analysis. But for the financial analysis, because like I said, and that goes to the second question that the lady asked about, does the share price does it speak to the performance of the company? So the share price ideally is meant to reflect the performance of the company. So if a share is rising, it means that the company is doing well, ideally. But sometimes the share does not mirror what the company is doing. So what you need to do is you need to look at the company financials. And that's what we call the qualitative things. Who are the individuals that are running the company? Are they people of character? Because in the end, you're not just investing in a share, you're investing in a company. So you want to know the people running the company. Who are the directors? Do you know them? Are they people of character? Do they have experience? What's their revenue, like I said, which is why it goes to financial literacy. What's their revenue? Over the last 5 years, you've looked at the share price, but you want to look at over the last 5 years, what has their revenue been? What has their profits been? So those are basic things that you look out for when in terms of share price. So